Ladies and gentlemen, the man sitting in front of me here needs no introduction, but for those of you out there who do not know who you are, please introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Mr. Zeb Ejiro. Uh, I'm a movie maker, you know, a Nigerian, and a very proud African.
When did you get into filmmaking, and what made you want to be a film director?
Well, I was born in a, movie family, so to speak. Like, my mother was, an addict. When my younger brother and we used to, we were very small, my mother would take us to the cinema all the time. So I think that is exactly where we developed the idea, my brother and I. And at the end of the day, we decided to go into the movie industry. And from day one, I told myself that I would like to be a power behind the camera, not in front of the camera. And thank God, I can categorically say that today I'm one of the powers, powers behind the movie industry in my country.
And speaking about that, what other directors have influenced you, be it here in America, Asia, United States, and why?
Well, Spielberg stands out any day. Somebody will look at his kind of job. He's not somebody that goes to location all the time. But once he goes to location, the statement is told. And I think he has really, inspired, people like us.
And how is the African film market compared to today different from that of, like, say, 10 years ago when you started?
The African movie industry is the next emerging movie industry, in the sense that 20 years ago, one would not be able to say that we have an industry. But today, I can categorically, tell you that we have a huge industry. The industry has grown so big in the sense that our stars are recognized all over the world. Like you rightly, put it, the Nollywood, where I belong actually, is the third biggest in the world. But surprisingly, the first biggest in terms of home movie production. We do more home video production than any country in the world today. So we are number one in that area. But when it comes to, making movie proper, proper movie making, I think we are the third biggest in the world. And I think to be the third is not an easy feat. It's something that we really work so hard to achieve.
Especially since, like most of the people here, like,
Yeah.
we study film, and I've noticed that when it comes to Nigerian filmmakers, like, we're all about, like, grassroots. Whatever happens,
Yes.
take it and run.
Yes.
Unlike here, where it's like you have to go to school, and I went.
Yes, but yes, here you have to get formal training.
Right.
But in Nigeria and Africa, most times I think they get trained on the job.
Right.
And things are well done. And, two American friends of mine, Andy Frankel and Frankel, actually came to Nigeria to visit me one time. And he followed me to the location. I was shooting a movie in Calabar. By the time he saw what we were doing, he said, "Zeb, you guys are magicians. With limited resources that you have, and you don't have the kind of equipment we will see in Hollywood. But then you do wonders. You could be able to, hold on your own. I think it's great. I think.
And so, making a movie with, two of the biggest African stars, pretty much, Genevieve and Omotola, what would you say is the angle to how you push a film like this, and how would you go about doing that?
Interestingly, I gave them their first, opportunity. Yes, I did. Genevieve and Genevieve was very small then. When I saw her and I said, look, this is somebody that is so talented. That was so many years ago. I gave her a break when we did a soap opera together titled Broad Street. She played the role of the daughter to Sam Loco. And since then, the girl has gone so high, and I'm proud of her. And, Omotola Jalade, I gave her first break as well when I did a movie titled Mortal Inheritance. And she won. The Mortal Inheritance picked, 10 awards, 16 nominations. And Omotola won the Best Actress of the Year. So the two stars you've brought to, LA, to Hollywood here to shoot your movie. I think you guys have done, you made the greatest choice. I must tell you the truth, because this, no matter how you look at it, they are the best we have in Africa, and they have, cut a niche for themselves, and they are professionals to the core. You saw what happened yesterday at the location. Genevieve was fantastic.
She's amazing.
She's amazing.
She's amazing.
Yeah,
Simply
yes,
amazing. Yeah.
yes. You understand? And I'm telling you again that Omotola is, one fantastic actress you guys are going to enjoy. She's a pro to the core, and she's a very deep character. She's a character actress. That's what I call her. She has strong interpretation and all that. So I think you've put together the best. Yeah.
Young filmmakers like myself, people like myself, Chineze, coming overseas here to study, and then wanting to go back to make films, personal films. What would you, let's see, what would be your advice to us in regards to what kind of films we should make, and and the transition? What do you think? I mean, think about China, Japan, the kind of movies, Korea, the kind of films they're making on an international level. What do you think? How do you think Nigeria, can get on that international atmosphere where we could, have that respectability?
First of all, let me start by saying that you guys have started well. Started well by, acquiring the basic education. Coming to LA to study film production, it is the best thing you guys have done, because your generation of movie makers is going to lift what we have started and take it to the next level. So you have a good foundation already. Secondly, I would like to say again that you cannot tell the Americans and the Europeans cannot tell your story better than you.
That's true.
You cannot tell their story better than them.
That's true.
So, like you said, you have an idea in your head already that was talked about the other time. So those are the kind of things you should do. You should be able to take your own story, tell your own story to the international audience, your own way.
Right.
It is your story, but give it an international touch. Tell an international story. Tell your story in an international way, so that everybody anywhere can be able to understand, your culture, the way you people live, and all that.
Who would you say you've not worked with, and or is there anybody you've not worked with in Nollywood at this time?
Well, yes, I work with a lot of Nigerian stars, a lot of them, and I can tell you categorically that 80% of Nigerian stars, they pass through my hands.
Okay.
So I gave them the break,
Right.
put them where they are today. I'm not just talking about the stars. I'm talking about writers. I'm talking about producers, directors, soundtrackers, or what have you. You understand? Yes, some new ones that are making huge name today I have not worked with, but I think they are fantastic as well. I look forward to work with them whenever I think that, I need them.
Right.
I'll be able to do that. The one thing I want to say is that, Nigeria is looking forward to guys like you. You understand? Because, people say this is a profession where you don't retire. Actually, the older you are in profession, the better you are. You understand? But again, it is getting to a position where we now say, Odera, you are young, creative, you have the basic education and all that. I can raise the fund. I don't have to direct it. I want to use your skill and all that. Are you getting me? So we are getting to that position now. So because we are getting to that position now, so the Nigeria and Africa, are looking up to people like you, Chineze, and the young movie makers that have been trained here in LA to come back home and be able to tell stories, in our way for international audience. That is the advice I'll give to you guys, that you guys should work so hard and make it happen.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you.